on-demand is growing. It's growing very big and it's growing very quickly. And with new pod sites opening up all the time, what should you consider when deciding which site to set your products up on? Now, before we even get to the various platforms and fulfillment companies, let's start with what you want from your print-on-demand supplier. Now, this is very easy for me to say when I'm a seasoned podder, but if you're coming across all this for the first time, you don't really know what you're looking for now, do you? You've yet to discover what's even possible with the magical world of merch through print on demand. Do you, for example, want to be able to sell a large variety of different things? Or do you want to concentrate on just a small selection of products? Or what about a dedicated online store for maybe just beanie hats or coffee mugs, baby clothes or socks? Do you want your products to be listed alongside other people's in a marketplace type site? Think of the mighty Amazon, for example. Consider how each seller's product isn't there in isolation. It's surrounded by alternatives, all of which are called up when you type what it is you're looking for into that search bar. The site, Amazon in this case, is giving you lots of suggestions. Its purpose is to sell you something. Amazon's not interested in the individual seller's goals or desires, or the fact they've got the rent to pay at the end of the month. And while we're on it, Amazon has its own pod offering, by the way, Merch on Demand, which is another way we know that print on demand is a major player in e-commerce now and in the future. Amazon wouldn't invest in it if it wasn't. Redbubble, Spreadshirt, Society6 Spring, these platforms all work in the same way. Your listings are there alongside other people's. Let's label these print-on-demand platforms because they're great. They already have a built-in customer base. People go there with buying in mind. Uploading designs onto platforms is quick and you get the hang of it really easily. You can often have a store within these platforms, but customers tend to go directly to the products and they're not really interested in your story or your collections. They'd go to the search bar or the menu and seek what they're looking for. Where these platforms really win out is that you can upload one design and it immediately goes all over the products that the platform offers. Wow. You can choose to only have some of these products for sale, of course. I mean, some images or slogans just are not going to work on some products, let's face it. Or you can choose to have your design on every single one of them. Let's face it, the more products you have on that marketplace, the more chances are people will find, choose and buy them, right? So what's the alternative then? How can you sell print-on-demand products in a way that you are only showing people your products? Well, you can have your own website, your own e-commerce store. In a similar way to the platforms, you upload the products, but before you can do that, you have to integrate your website with a pod supplier. That is much less complicated than it sounds, and you only have to do it once and then you can fly. With your own website, you have more control over the base products you add. It's down to you to make sure your products aren't violating people's trademarks or copyright. Don't worry about that. I have a whole training on that for you. Don't let intellectual property scare you, but do take it seriously. I'll link to that video at the end, so keep watching. Uploading individual products on your own e-com store can be slower than pinging loads out at once across a platform, but having your own store to send customers to via advertising or social media is going to give you a more stable, long-term, proper business. There are a variety of website hosting companies out there that allow integration with pod fulfillment companies. These are Shopify, Launchcart, Wix, and there's also a kind of hybrid option. So selling on a marketplace but via an integration. All in good time, but here we're talking about things like Etsy, eBay and Amazon Seller Central. My favourite pod integration, or provider as I like to call them, is Printful, with Printify as a close second. Both have an incredible amount of products available and lots of things that just aren't so run-of-the-mill, not just clothes or anything like that. These website hosting sites like Shopify, etc. all have hosting fees, so do consider that. Even if you make no sales that month, you're still going to have to pay $29 or whatever, the hosting fee. There is yet another alternative though. one which is perfectly positioned for filling orders in the UK especially, and full disclosure, this is something I'm involved with and run paid workshops for. This one has no hosting fees, and I'll link the link in the description if you want to come and have a look. But that's all I'm saying about that for now. Today's video is an overview, so I'm not promoting one way to pod over another here. I'm just showing you the differences. And while we're at it, I want you to think wider, beyond clothing, beyond homewares, beyond accessories. Think about books. Books on Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing are also a form of print on demand. When you upload a book onto the KDP platform, yes, it's a platform, Amazon don't go nuts printing out hundreds of copies of it and sending it to all their depots just in case someone orders it. In true print on demand style, they spring into action when a customer places an order. The book is printed, packed and dispatched, boom, done, to order. See? The scope of pod is huge. Do one area of pod, do a couple, go the whole hog, and every design you come up with, put it everywhere. There are even really fantastic tools out there that will automate the whole process for you. But don't let it all scare you. Stick with me and I'll take you through it as much or as little as works for you. As this channel grows, I'll bring you more and more help and information, and I'm fully aware that the best way to hone up on my own pod skills is to show other people how to do it, which makes me extremely selfish.